Hey first graders, welcome to online reading class. Before we get started, I wanted to show you this plant that I have. My room moms and my class got me this plant for my birthday, and I wanted to update you guys on how big it's grown. Look how cool. Very fun. Okay, first graders. This week we are going to be learning about nonfiction books. So if you remember, nonfiction books are books that are not fake, they are real. So they are about real life things. So for example, a book like Pete the Cat, that's not a real book, that's a fiction book because it has a talking cat. Do cats talk in real life? No. So a nonfiction book, remember, is a real life, true book that teaches us facts about people or animals or places. And when we are looking at a nonfiction book, we want to ask ourselves what the main idea is, because usually the book will have one big main idea that it's teaching us about. And a hint is oftentimes we can find that main idea just from looking at the title or the front of the book. We also want to ask ourselves what the details are about the main idea. So I'm going to be reading you a book right now, and we are going to work together to try to find out what the main idea is and what some key details are. This book is called Manatees. So I can already tell from the title that I think this book is going to be mostly about manatees. So that is going to be the main idea of this book. Who am I? I have whiskers, but I am not a cat. I nibble on grass, but I am not a cow. I have gray, wrinkled skin, but I am not an elephant. Who am I? A manatee. Mighty manatees. Manatees are mammals that live in the water. They are sometimes called sea cows. Why? Manatees are gentle, and they like to move slowly just like cows. They also graze on seagrass, just like cows eat grass. Manatees are big. They are usually about 10 feet long. That's as long as two kids' bikes lined up end to end. Manatees are heavy too. Most adult manatees weigh about 1,000 pounds. That's the weight of about 21 second graders. Super swimmers. Manatees can move their large bodies gracefully through the water. They swim upside down and roll. They even do somersaults. Manatees don't like water that is too deep. They like to stay in shallow water in oceans and rivers. There they find food and warm water. A manatee's body is built for living in the water. It talks about its tail that moves up and down, their eyes that are small but help them see in the water, their nostrils that breathe air through their nose, but they close tightly underwater. So they're mammals, so that means that when they're in the air, they can breathe, and then it closes when they're back down. They have flippers that help them steer and also bring food to their mouth, kind of like a shovel. And they have lips that are big and strong, and they wrap around plants and pull them into their mouth. Munching on lunch. Manatees are herbivores. They eat plants for about 6 to 8 hours every day. Manatees have no front teeth. They don't need them because they don't eat meat. Manatees have only large back teeth called molars. The molars help them grind their food. Okay, we're going to stop the book there because I already have found some key details about manatees. So we're going to go back and look at those details. It's important sometimes to go back through a book, especially a nonfiction book, because it teaches you so much information. So right here, I noticed one of the first key details that I'm going to use. Manatees are sometimes called sea cows. Great. So the book is mostly about manatees. One fact about manatees, one detail about manatees is that they're sometimes called sea cows. Another thing that I could write is that manatees are very big and heavy. They're sometimes 1,000 pounds. That's a pretty cool detail about manatees. And the third key detail that I'm going to write is that manatees' bodies help them to live underwater. They have a tail and flippers to help them eat, eyes to help them see, and a nose to help them breathe and hold their breath. So their bodies are built to help them live underwater. So those are just 3 details. There's so many details in this book about manatees. If I kept on reading, look, manatees are herbivores. That means they don't eat meat. So now that I've read my book, I know that my main idea was manatees and all about manatees. And 3 key details were manatees are sometimes called sea cows. Manatees are very big and heavy. They can be up to 1,000 pounds. And manatees' bodies help them to live underwater. They have tails that help them move and flippers that help them eat and so on. So I would write those in the 3 boxes. Bye, friends.